Hello and welcome to another online session of the Acuity STAR application for the Schulich School of Medicine and Dentistry. My name is Paul Malcolmson, and in this session we will be walking through adding teaching effectiveness activities for a faculty member. So teaching effectiveness are the evaluation scores you receive from students for program teaching that you've done in the scope of your teaching at Schulich. And typically, teaching effectiveness is captured and maintained in a system called 145. That's not always the case, but that tends to be the general place for student evaluations. So you might receive a student evaluation from 145 in the form of an electronic PDF or the physical pages, but this session will show you how to transcribe that information and how to make the proper decisions to put that information in the teaching effectiveness section of STAR. So I've logged onto the system, I've clicked on the teaching activities subject area, and then the teaching activities section. You can see I have some values already entered into this system, so you're obviously able to manipulate those. You could clone an existing record, you can edit a record, but in this example, let's add a new one. I've already mentioned that the teaching effectiveness scores should be linked or could be linked together with your program teaching. So you will find the same drop-down menus in this system specifically for your department. Starting with the program level, so the program level that was taught at, and for this example, let's choose postgraduate medical education. Selecting the type of course activity, you will see the same list that's available in your program teaching values. These are department specific, so you might not have all of these exact examples or values here, but in this case, let's choose academic half-day seminars. And then we'll go through choosing Schulich and then a department and a division if that makes sense for your department. So this is where you teach. You also can select a rotation if that's applicable. In this case, surgery doesn't document rotations in teaching effectiveness. So you're now able to record the start and end dates. And in order for the proper capturing and organization on your teaching dossier, using the academic year that the evaluation happened in is the best way for that to show up on your teaching dossier. So in this case, this specific record happened in the academic year 2012-2013. Then we can put in things like your score, the quintile, strengths, and areas for improvement. So your teaching effectiveness score would be what score you received on the teaching. In this example, I'll put 5.9. Quintile is a fancy word that describes what is this score measured out of. Most 145 evaluations and most evaluations at Schulich tend to be out of 7. So that's the top score that you can receive. So putting that in, this allows the system to calculate your average and your values properly. Without having the quintile in there, it doesn't know what to divide by for that. Then you can transcribe your strengths and areas for improvement. And keep in mind, if you have electronic values for this system, you can cut and paste just like you would with Microsoft Word or with other systems. At this point, we have a teaching effectiveness record that's been entered into the system, and we'll click on Save. You can also click Save Clone to continue entering in evaluation scores. But in this case, let's say we have one entered in, and you can see it shows up in the data grid as well too. So to show you an example of how this links together with program teaching, when we produce a teaching dossier, so this is a sample teaching dossier that's been generated, and if we look at the teaching responsibilities, you can see this is a program teaching record here, so this would be from the program teaching menu, and then these values here are what have been entered in the teaching effectiveness. And because the academic year matches, and because the program activity matches, then your teaching dossier has a nice concise list of what did you teach, how long was the teaching, how many students, for example, when did it happen, and then your evaluations that you've received as well too. Hopefully this helps show you some clarity on where teaching responsibilities go. If you do have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to your STAR coordinator, and have a nice day.